What's up here, guys and gals? It's Jimmy P here, and today it's going to be a signature model. So yes, this is the Chris Shiflett signature Fender Telecaster. Yes, it's an actual Fender this time. Haha! Yeah, usually I have Squires, and this is actually a Fender one. I will tell you about that because the fact that I understand the difference between the Fender and the Squire. Now, we're going to get into that real quick, but first, I just want to say that I actually do love this guitar. I had to do some work to it. I bought off a friend because he had it, because he's into the Deluxes as well. This is actually a Fender Deluxe, a Fender Telecaster Deluxe. His is a black one, and it's not a signature, but he bought this one, and he said, you know what, I don't really need it because I already have one, so might as well just see if I can sell it. And I'm like, yes, I'm interested because I love Telecasters too. Actually, so my first Telecaster actually was a Squire Affinity Series Squire Telecaster. What happened with that, I was into the Rage Against the Machine and I wanted to be like Tom Morello, so naturally Tom played a Telecaster that he got in school when he was in college. Actually, he went to an Ivy League school, I think either maybe it was Harvard, I don't know. So he did a trade with his friend, his roommate, and for maybe an amplifier or something, but then he got that. So that's actually a Fender old school Telecaster he got. So anyway, I wanted that specific kind of guitar. I wanted to make it not my own, but I wanted to be like him at that point in time when I first started playing guitar. So again, it was cheap. It didn't have a string through hardtail like this has. It was just actually where the bridge is. Actually, you fed the strings through there on the front, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. And I actually liked the sound of it, which was weird, but I ended up smashing that, and I kind of regret doing that. So I'm not going to get into the reasons why I smashed it. It wasn't at a show. I wish it was, because that would have been cool, but I naturally smashed it because being an idiot. But anyway, yeah, I always wanted another Telecaster at some point, but I didn't expect it to be the Chris Shiflett one. I like signatures because I like what they want and put into it, and then I take it and when I buy it and I make it my own then. And you know, it's basically, you know, I kind of want it to be the way I want it to be then. So with the hardware, we'll start with the hardware first, might as well. So with the hardware, I had no problem with the pots. The pots feel smooth. I really like how they feel, and they're just they're very speedy. They're like the witch hats, as you can see. So you got it's kind of like a Les Paul, so you got two volumes and two tones. So you can control both pickups, the neck and the bridge, with the three-way toggle. Now, it had a standard Fender bridge on it, but when you try to adjust the strings for the string height, I don't know why they thought of it that way, but it was too vintage for me, and it kind of like the set screws that were sticking out were kind of like cutting into me, and that's kind of where I like to play, is near the bridge and the bridge pickup, and that's where I like to sit when I do my rock stuff and rock riffing. So I changed that, and I changed that into a hip shot, and I didn't really have to do much to it, and I like the stability of it, how it looks, and of course this doesn't dig into me because the set screws are countersunk, so I'm not cutting into my hand when I play, and it feels really good, and that's why I definitely want to upgrade it. Again, to make it my own in a way, and more like hot roddy, you know, and more performance-wise playing when I go out and play. So with that said, the tuners were actually vintage tuners that I didn't like, and what really sucked is that it was hard for the strings to stay in tune, and I don't know why those were put on, but again, those were Chris Shiflett's thing. When he made the Telecaster, he from what I understand, he likes Telecasters, and that's why he made one. But his was a parts caster, and I guess Fender approached him to say, hey, we noticed that you are playing you know, a Telecaster, but you made it your own. We know that's a parts caster. Would you mind if we wanted to make signature and collaborate with you? And of course, that's what these are. Again, so he had the vintage tuners on, and I didn't really care for them because, again, they weren't staying in tune for me. So I upgraded to the Diodario Planet Wave self-cutting ones on these, and of course these are the silver ones to match the hardware. I swear by these. These are great. They're so solid for the price. I can't understand it why they're so good, but it's awesome. So again, self-cutting. All you have to do is just tighten them up when you do put them through the pull pieces, and just let them cut on their own. They're awesome, and again, they're very stable. This guitar was in my room for a while sitting. Over time, you know, usually sometimes the wood warps a little bit or whatever, or the string tension goes out. They held up their own. I mean, again, I just had to do a little minor adjustment on the tuning, but other than that, they're great. So there's no bevel on the back, so it's definitely got that deluxe style, vintage style Telecaster kind of neck and body. So accessing the frets is, you know, old school. What's cool is that it does have a belly cut in the back, so instead of like one solid piece, one back on the back, it's actually belly cut, so it's actually comfortable when you play, so that's cool. The pickguard I changed again because I like the pearloid look. It just had a, not mint green, but it was like more of like the yellowish, kind of like to match the gold of this. And again, I wanted to get the white one because I love white guitars, but my friend had this and I couldn't pass up because I tried looking for the white one and I couldn't find it anywhere for purchase. So I know that they had the gold ones. So I said, whatever, we'll just go for that. But again, I changed this, and again, the pearloid is more flashy. So that's why I went with it. But here's one thing I do have to say. The neck I had to work on specifically a lot. There was definitely some fret sprouting. I don't know, my friend said he had it in his room and it was dry in his room and hot in his room. I don't know, but I guess that's the reason why it was dry. I don't know if it's the truth, because Fenders lately, I don't know, like they always have to have work on them. My bassist, Mike McTavish, he has Fender basses, and I always have to set them up for him because sometimes the necks are super dry, and when they get to them, and I have to work on them for them. So I don't know what's going on, but I think that Fender needs to really do kind of like make sure to do their quality checks better. I think these are medium jumbo frets. I had them sanded out by a local guitar shop, and then I ended up doing it myself when I wanted to work on guitars for a little bit more practice. So I did mine. I did this on this one. Definitely feels a lot better now. Again, every time I change strings, I always hydrate the fretboard. I always have to hydrate it because that's just me. I always do that with all my guitars. It cleans up the neck nicely. It hydrates the board. That way you're not getting any type of like bad repercussions of a dried out fretboard. So you always want to make sure your neck is hydrated. The whole neck is on the back is glossed out, so it's definitely finished. Same thing with the headstock. The 76 headstock is there with his signature. What I like about the covers of the pickguard or the pickups, I played over time. They were shiny ones. Now they kind of like have a tarnished look to them. I guess from my sweat. I don't know, and fingerprint stuff. I tried cleaning it up and buffing them out, but that was not clearly working, so I don't know why. So they kind of oxidized kind of cool, and I like how they look now. They look dirty, they look well worn in, so that's definitely a kind of look I like going for. But the pickups are not really that something to write about. I think they're kind of based off of like the JB and the 59 or the Jazz from Seymour Duncan. I'm not really too sure, but when you open them up, they say CS on them, so that's for Chris Shiflett models type pickups, and I think that's what he was going for with that sound, was with a JB pickup in the bridge and either a 59 or a Jazz in the neck, one of those two. But I definitely like the way they sound. I mean, so with the electronics, for some odd reason, there was some sort of like grounding issue. Every time I turn up the amp, it would always like have like a noise to it, even when it was clean as well. So right now I don't have that issue anymore. It's slightly there, but I think it's because, I'm right in front of the amp though too. So before, every time I put my hand over the strings, it would stop, but then I'd let go. It would be super, super buzzy. So thankfully my friend that I worked on his guitar, he took my guitar and he actually shielded it for me. So I think that was the problem. It needed some shielding, more shielding around the electronics. So I think that kind of eliminated the whole buzzing sound, so thank God for that. So yeah, there's nothing too much to this guitar. Again, I always liked the Tellies growing up as a kid as well. I always loved, vintage style guitars. But again, I'm not a single coil guy either. And Chris Shiflett is also known for that too. He's more of a humbucker guy. Again, so am I. There's some single coils that can do the job, but then there's times where it's like, I just need a good fat humbucker. And that's exactly what this guitar does, and it rocks. I mean, so here's a little bit of a listen. So here we go. yeah, so here we go. Hold on. It's hot in here. So yeah, there is the Chris Shiflett Telecaster. Again, there's not really much of a story to this. Just wanted to show you that I have it. I use this most of the time when I'm out playing. It's definitely either my number 2 or number 1. It's definitely a backup for me. And again, I use my Jazzmaster as my number 1 when I play out, or my Explorer, one or the other. But this is definitely an awesome guitar to play. I love playing this. There's definitely some shots of me playing it when we played out. So again, I adore this guitar. It really rocks. Hopefully you liked the video. I appreciate you checking in on this one. Again, just keep staying inspired, keep playing and keep practicing. It's definitely a cool thing to do, is to keep playing guitar. So again, like and subscribe. If you like it, share it too amongst your friends. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Take care. I'll see you then.